Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our very first look at the brand new Tier 7 Russian carrier Chkalov, whatever it's called. I am the world's worst carrier player, so keep that in mind when we get into the video. Yevgeny Preobrazhensky. That's the best I've got. Preobrazhensky, whatever you want to call it. That's our commander. We are running Jersey Swirsky and Space Fishy for a little bit extra torpedo speed. But, yeah. I'm telling you, I struggle with these. I ain't gonna lie. Contact is imminent. Even more torpedo speed. I need all the torp speed. Torpedo damage is increased. We've got hidden threat. We've got burn, baby, burn. Right? And then, of course, we have fully packed for extra stuff. But, yeah, I've been trying to get used to this ship, but I struggle with carriers. You guys know this. But as far as our loadout goes, we got Flight Control Mod 1, we've got AA Guns Mod 2, we've got Concealment System Mod, and we have the Air Groups Mod 3. For a loadout, I've got the Italian Unity flag, because if you squint just right, kind of looks like a Spartan helmet, and the standard flag or standard camo that comes with the ship. Survivability, 51,700 hit points with a 25% torp damage reduction. Aircraft, you got the Sukhoi Su-2. You get 1,768 hit points for the squadron. Maximum speed is 187 knots with an attack unit size of 6 and aircraft per squadron of 6, meaning just like the Pobeda and the other Russians, they all attack at one time, which gives you some huge advantages when it comes to being able to save your planes for later on, if you use them correctly. Detectability range is 10 kilometers, 1 bomb per plane. Maximum bomb damage is 12,750 with a 49% chance to set fires. These things are absurd. Bomb skip count maximum is 3. Aircraft maximum flight range is 28 kilometers. Aircraft restoration time is 102 seconds. Aircraft on deck, you get 12 with 3 per restoration. For the torpedo bombers, you get the Polikarpov, Vitali 2. I'm assuming VIT, I don't know. Anyway, hit points 2,088 with a maximum speed of 183 dots. Attack unit of 6, aircraft per 6. Detectability range of 9.3 kilometers. Torpedoes, 1 per plane. Maximum torpedo damage, 4,223. Torpedo speed, 49 knots. Torpedo range, 6 kilometers. Aircraft maximum flight range, 27 kilometers. Aircraft restoration time, 102 seconds. Aircraft on deck is 12. And aircraft per restoration is 3. Artillery. You do have 130 millimeter secondaries, 55 caliber B2Us. You get 16 of those, reaching out to 5 kilometers with a reload of 5 seconds, firing HE with maximum damage of 1,900 and a 12% chance to set fires. AA damage. You've got 37 millimeter V11s. You get 32 of those, firing out to 4.2 kilometers, doing 147 damage per second. 37 millimeter 46Ks, you get 32 of those, reaching out to 4.2 kilometers, doing 98 damage per second. And then you have the 130 millimeter 55 caliber B2U dual purpose secondaries, you get 16 of, doing 98 damage per second, reaching out to 6.2 kilometers. Maneuverability, maximum speed of 32.3 knots, turning circle of 1,040 meters, rudder shift time of 13.2 seconds. Concealment, 12 kilometers detectable by sea, 10.7 by air, guaranteed as always 2. Statistics are probably terrible, so keep that in mind. 43% win rate. I played 14 battles in this thing, and it has been abysmal. Not the ship, just the fact that I have had the worst teams you have ever seen in your life. I have had multiple throws where the teams have just completely collapsed, and I'm like, how am I supposed to do things? But with that being said, my average damage is 81,000 damage, which I'm not a carrier player. So that should scare you. That should scare you a lot. Okay? For good carrier players are going to absolutely ruin everybody with these things. These things are busted currently. Armor-wise, you do have an armored flight deck. You also have, it is a 30mm deck, by the way, all the way down. So, the only thing that you really have to worry about with plunging fire is anything 18 inches and above. So 457s and above, overmatched 30mm. Yeah. Anyway, armor belt, you do have a little bit of an armor belt, but, I mean, does it really matter? If you're getting shot, you're going to take hits. Like, this thing is absolutely massive. There's a lot of very lightly armored stuff, so you're going to be taking pins, right? Pretty simple. If we get rid of that, and 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 get rid of that, now you can see that it does have a raised citadel, and it's exactly where you'd expect, from about 2/3 of the way up to 2/3 of the way back. So, it's a pretty massive raised citadel. And there is no turtleback. I thought maybe it was a turtleback, but it isn't. Anyway, camaraderie. All the aircraft in the attack group drop bombs when bombarding a target. JADO unit, increased carrier-based aircraft takeoff speed. And skip bombers, bombs from aircraft skip off the surface of the water before hitting the target. Chkalov, further development of the Project 71 aircraft carrier continued under the Large Aircraft Carrier Project, codenamed 71B. The ship would have made it possible for the main naval forces to utilize their aviation quickly and effectively in the open seas and near the coastline, in areas located far from naval bases. But the project wasn't implemented due to the outbreak of World War II. It was designed in 1939. And I gotta say, in terms of carriers, I kind of like this one, in terms of the looks of the carrier, anyway. She's just got a look about her, I don't know. Most carriers are pretty hideous. This thing's got curves. It's got overall good look. The camo's fantastic. I do like the camo on this thing. But, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think this might be my favorite looking carrier in the game currently. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But with all of that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we are going to be on Crash Zone. Now, before you guys turn it off, I know carrier play isn't for everybody. But I promise you want to stick around because you will not believe how this one ends. I guarantee it. This is going to be the most disgusting carrier game I've ever played. And that's saying something because I've had some pretty disgusting games. I am the self-proclaimed worst carrier captain on the planet. Alright? I know I suck in carriers. And I'm okay with that. I don't care to play carriers. I know, right? But, this ship is, one can only call it absurd. That's what we're going to call it. It is not the Chkalov. It is now the absurd. That is what it's called. Alright? I don't know what that means in Russian. I'm sure somebody down there can let me know in the comments. But, for me, it's just absurd what this thing is capable of. And, we're going to show you just the stupidity of this ship in very short timing, as we are going to completely and utterly destroy every single person that dares spawn on my side of the map. Don't believe me? Well, sunshine, you're just gonna have to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, and cringe every single time as we get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bombs away! Kerblaster! 14,000 damage and a double fire on that poor, unsuspecting Belfast, who then immediately has to waste his first smoke screen. That's only one drop. Guess what? We gonna come back? What are they gonna do? There's nothing they can do. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. It takes a little bit of getting used to with these skip bombs. You gotta try to avoid armor belts because they will just shatter on an armor belt. So you want to skip them to the point where if you're going up against an armored enemy, like say a Zeton, we want to hit the upper belt or the superstructure, right? And the way you do that is as you're coming in, you want to get the second line where you're about to skip. You want that to be slightly past your enemy, right? So watch as we go just past the enemy. Watch this hit. Wait for it. Kerplow! Okay, not as good of a hit, right? And that's what I'm talking about. Against an armored enemy, it's not quite as effective at getting the nasty damage, but it'll still set fires. We got a fire. He immediately damage cons a single fire in a Zeton. Zeton only has a limited number of damage controls, folks. So he damage controls a single fire immediately. Let's see if he lives long enough to regret that, shall we? Let's come back over. This time we've got torpedoes. Now, the torpedoes on the Russian carriers are tough to get used to. They are extremely slow and have the worst arming distance you have ever seen out of any torpedoes in this game. Bar none. So, what that leads to is a lot of misses, at least until you get used to using them. Zeton, you like damage conning, huh? Let me see how you like this one, Sunshine. Make sure we clear the island and torpedoes away. Look at that absurdity. Do you see how much I had to lead him, though? Because these torps are so slow, watch his health. We got 19,000 hit points of damage right now. Bloop, 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 bloop. All 6 hits and a flood. And he's going to have to damage con that. And by the way, that was another 19,000 damage. Are you seeing how absurd this is? This is like having a Louisiana's plains at all times. At all times. Except you also get the benefit of being able to darn near one-shot destroyers when they decide to show themselves. Of course, this match didn't have a destroyer, but it had a lot of HP to take, and boy, are we going to do it. Now, he's already used 2 damage controls in his Zeton, but he's starting to get smart. Look at him. He's going to try to bow tank us. But, unfortunately for him, I don't care. This thing does not have a wide spread if you get it all the way nice and tight. And going into the bow, there's a good chance we're going to get another flood. And shocker, we hit him with 3 more torpedoes and get another flood. That is damage control number 3. Gone. This guy has been burning damage controls like they're going out of style. Now, I don't know how many more damage controls this man has, but he's got to be getting low. And we have farmed this man for half his hit points up to this point. And what can he do? Nothing. There is literally nothing he can do. Now, as I'm coming in here, he tries to bow tank, and I'm like, okay, screw it. We just pull away, look for another potential attack vector. I don't have either one of these guys in a good position to attack, so we're just gonna fly by. We use our little immunity button. It's not truly immunity anymore, but that allows us to swing around, get a couple of torps. Now, they did knock out a couple of our planes, unfortunately. But we're going to go ahead and drop these, see if we can't get a hit on a superstructure. There you go, we get another fire. So, that's going to burn, right? Because surely he's not going to use his last damage control on a single fire. If he has another damage control, he might have already used them all. But as you can see, the enemy has kind of collapsed here on the left flank. Our entire team went there, and the only thing here for my team is this battleship and this cruiser. So I've got to try to continuously harass this side. Now, as the Zeton sits there and burns, I'm going to go ahead and start trying to soften up the Vanguard. But Vanguard and the Zeton are going to learn real quick why you don't mess around. Now here, you can see I'm actually setting him up for the third bounce here. And we get a beautiful hit, get another fire, and as we come back, like, we're just cycling planes non-stop. And that's what you want to do. If you can launch these torps and these bomb strikes from further away, you're less likely to lose planes, meaning you refresh those planes much quicker, right? If you're losing planes, it takes a long time for them to come back. But if you manage to keep your planes around, they can continue to be a problem for the entire match. And that is what we are doing in this match. We are continuously harassing these people to the point where they legitimately have no shot. These guys are going to go into the next battle fearing that there might be a Chkalov on the other team. Now, as Zeton goes forward, he took a torpedo from a friendly destroyer or cruiser, and we're going to get in there and smack him with ours. Maybe it was the battle carrier right there or something, I don't know. But we're going to take down the Zeton for our first kill. We already have 82,000 damage, folks. We are 7 minutes into the game? Not even 7 minutes into the game. But the Vanguard is over here trying to capture the base. He's minding his own business. He's got nothing better to do with his time, so we're going to come in here and just set up the best strike that we possibly can. We've got a full squadron of torpedo bombers ready to go. And as we come in for the beautiful side profile torp strike, what are they going to do? they try to turn towards us. We've got to launch them far enough away, but he doesn't actually turn towards us here. He kind of maintains course. And if you do turn towards these torpedoes, there's a good chance you're going to force them not to arm, right? But he doesn't do that, so we manage to get them to arm, and we get another flood. That's number 4 for the floods today. And now he is flooding. He's also on fire, and he is in a lot of trouble, right? Now, you might have noticed that our team on the left has kind of taken a long time. They've gone all the way out to the edge of the map for some reason, and that's going to be a theme for the rest of this match, and we're going to end up having to carry real hard. But as we come in, this is not where you want to be for a bomb drop, but I figure any hit should be a potential fire, and shocker, we get a fire. That's another perma-fire. And so we take and just ruin this man's existence, right? Now, you would think that, given the fact that it's just a Vanguard and that we still have a cruiser and a battleship over here, the Vanguard does get a damage control back just in time to get that put out, or somebody triggered a fight fire with fire, who knows. But either way, he does put out the fire, and now we are coming in to finish what we started. This is the problem with these carriers, and fortunately we don't actually have to. But as we push towards the middle of the map here, you can see there were 2 cruisers left. One of them is going to be a, is it a Prinz Eugen or a Mainz? I can't remember which one it is. But I think it's a German cruiser, and then the other is the Belfast. And that Belfast has not taken any damage since we hit him last. Keep that in mind. But you can see I'm going to go ahead and try to go for the skip bombs here. And just as I go to commit to the drop, he gets spotted. Like, if I had waited half a second longer, I could have slapped that man. But we force him out of his smoke screen. He's now spotted. Hopefully our team... it's a Rune. That's what it is. I knew it was a German. It was a Rune. But we are now turning back towards the enemy team. We have successfully pushed the enemy away from us, and now we want to close the distance to shorten the amount of time it takes for us to get planes on target, right? You're allowed to use the parts or the gimmicks of the game to get you closer to the game, right? A lot of carriers don't do this. I've put up 111,000 damage in this. This is one of my best carrier games of all time. I suck in carriers, right? But this is how strong this thing truly is. Even somebody as bad as I am in carriers can absolutely control a match with this thing, given enough time. Now, I will say this. The matches that I've lost have been over very quickly. If you give me time, this thing is nasty as we hit the Rune with the good hit into the superstructure as he turns away. But if you give me time in this thing, it's going to be a bad day for your team. But if the game is over quickly, it's hard to do enough fast enough in this thing to really turn the tide, right? But I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm doing here. I am going full speed ahead right at these guys. The Rune is running. The carrier is on the corner of the map. I am going to try to get up in there. Now, the Rune takes down our Brandenburg. Our team is going to be trying to get themselves killed and can't seem to do any damage to the Rune for whatever reason. But we're going to go ahead and try to get a torp strike here. Now, I wasn't sure exactly what this guy was going to do. It is very difficult to hit a semi-agile cruiser with these torpedoes because of how slow they are. But we're going to go ahead and take the torp strike, and you can see, didn't lead him enough there, not even close. He's just going to be able to outrun those torpedoes. They're just too slow to catch up to a cruiser. You have to lead, you basically have to aim at their grandchildren, all right? That's how far you have to lead these torpedoes. And it takes time to get used to. There are some extremely good carrier players out there that are going to eat this thing up. This is busted. This is just going to go right up there with Ark Royal and how busted it was when it first came out. Like, this thing is cracked. I don't know why they let stuff come into the game in such a ridiculous configuration. But as we watch the enemy Chkalov, because they have one as well, right? As we watch the enemy Chkalov here, I want you guys to watch what these skip bombs do to a carrier. But again, we don't want to hit the belt. We know he's got an armor belt, so we want to hit high if we can. So we aim for the flight deck, and plow! There goes half his hit points. 5 penetrations and a fire. Obviously, he's going to damage control that because it's automatic. So now we're on our way back. We've got torpedo bombers. We lose our Atlantico to the Chkalov's torpedo strike. And as we close the distance here, again, I know it's difficult to hit the rune with torpedoes, so I'm probably going to go for the carrier in this situation. I just kind of want to keep the cruiser off balance because I'm at the point where I'm starting to get in range to be spotted, right? Like, I am going up in here. But the reason I'm doing this is because I want to be as short a flight time as possible to guarantee that I get as much out of these guys as possible. Now, as this guy starts running for the border, I try to drop these ahead of time to get all these torpedoes away, and I think I just didn't quite lead them enough. Again, these are extremely slow. I cannot stress to you how slow these torpedoes truly are. And I think that carrier ends up outrunning the torps and catches maybe one of them towards the back, if I remember correctly. But yeah, we catch him with one torpedo. We've got our skip bombers available, or no, this is torpedo strike as well. I thought we had our skip bombs, but you can see as we push in, again, we just want to push this guy away because I'm right here. Like, my carrier is up in this right now, to the point where I'm being attacked by their carrier as well, and I'm being shot by the rune potentially. But we try to get another torp strike away at the rune, and once again, not enough lead. He just outruns them. It's very, I can't stress enough, but as he turns back, he actually ends up running in and catching one and two of them right in the boot. You gotta love that, right? Catch him right in the booty with the, right up the old prop shaft with it. But to watch this strike here, beautifully lined up, set him up, and fire the bombs. Wait for it. Boop. Now that was only 3 bombs away. We only had 3 planes there. And now we're gonna go ahead and come in with torpedoes to try to finish him off. And then we gotta try to get rid of the enemy rune as well. But the guy is basically stuck. Once you get this thing on the border, you lose engine power and you basically are just a sitting duck. You can't move. It's not like a cruiser or destroyer that gets away with it, right? So we're going to go ahead and line this guy up. He can't really get out of the way. These torpedoes are about as tight as you can possibly get. We get the torpedoes away, and now we're going to launch our skip bombers to come in and say hello to the rune one last time. And just as we get to the rune with the skip bombers, the enemy Chkalov goes down to our torpedoes. He kills us in the process, but we get our last strike away and pick up the double strike and the flesh wound to cap off an absolutely ridiculous replay in the Chkalov from the worst carrier player in Legends. 175,000 damage, 17 torpedoes hit, and all of the fires, top of the leaderboard with 2,550 base XP. What more can I do, folks? Let me know if you guys enjoyed this. Is this the most entertaining carrier replay you've ever seen? Probably is. Let me know. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.